The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who just learned about appropriate peer-to-teen choice behaviors. Welcome, Jacob.
You had to bring that up, didn't you? You just had to bring that up, didn't you?
Can't help it if you made bad choices.
That's true, we all do. Anyways, why thank you. Let me introduce our co-host, a man who was just really upset because he was watching the ponies before this PSA started. Welcome, Drew.
Boy, there's a dig.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah, today I am doing something I didn't expect I'd ever get a chance to do on this show. And I don't know why I didn't think it would ever happen, but I got this guy to watch Homestar Runner. And if y'all don't know who that is, I'll explain that very soon.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, old YouTube, pre-YouTube internet videos, which kind of seem like I think I mentioned this once before. I love how my choices for Indie Shorts Month are all old stuff from the internet, while yours is the important Academy Award winning, or should be Academy Award winning, nominated at least,
yes,
animated shorts that are the future of animation. Mine is, let's see what a bunch of goobers did on the internet for fun. But I mean, this is some cool stuff. So,
agreed.
So why don't we go ahead and jump into our review of these two shorts?
Yes.
I was hoping this would be finished already, but I'll just go ahead and jump in. The following is a spoiler-filled review for the Cheat Commandos shorts, Shopping for Danger and Commandos in the Classroom, aka Movie Night. Listener discretion is advised. So these Cheat Commandos, they are a part of a website called homestarrunner.com, which were produced by the Brothers Chaps. That's the name of the group. Homestar Runner began when Mike Chapman and Craig Zobel decided that most children's books that they were seeing in a bookstore were awful, and decided to write their own called The Homestar Runner Enters the Strongest Man in the World contest, with the name Homestar Runner coming from an inside joke. Later, the brothers Mike and Matt Chapman, aka the Brothers Chaps, and Zobel created a short Homestar Runner animation in Mario Paint for a child relative of theirs for their birthday. After that point, the Brothers Chaps were getting interested in Flash animation after finishing college, and taught themselves how to use the program, and created a couple cartoons based on the characters that they had created so far, and then uploaded that to their website, homestarrunner.com, in January of 2000. Mike and Matt did most of the animation, and Matt voicing all of the characters except for one, Marzipan, which is voiced by Mike's wife, Missy Palmer. In August 2001, the Brothers Chaps began a series of shorts called Strong Bad Emails, which very quickly became the most popular pieces of content on the website. Here, the character Strong Bad, who is technically a villain in these, or a bad guy at least in on the site, answers real emails sent in from fans. By its very nature, Strong Bad Emails, or SPEmails as they became to be known, drove most of the new content going to the website, adding in new characters and new series into what they were doing. In SPEmail number 93, Army, Strong Bad is asked if his country, Strongbadia, which is basically his backyard, has an army. Strong Bad says they don't need an army, at which point the Homestar, made up of Homestar, with Strong Bad's younger brother Strong Sad, Homstar, a character created from a typo of Homestar's name, and an automatic popcorn popper named Frank Benedetto, who is literally just a piece of literally a popcorn popper, and doesn't act, there's not animated at all. Unfortunately, Frank does not survive the invasion. Strong Bad sends the Cheat, a cute Pikachu-esque character that helps Strong Bad do his schemes, out to do some reconnaissance. But the Cheat refuses unless Strong Bad calls him by his commando name, Firebert, which Strong Bad doesn't want to do because Firebert isn't a good commando name. I mention all of this because this is where Cheat Commandos came from. On May 10th, 2004, they released the cartoon Cheat Commandos, which starts out as a toy commercial before introducing the Saturday morning cartoon-esque shorts content. If you hadn't figured it out by now, Cheat Commandos are a parody of G.I. Joe.
No.
The main casts of the Cheat Commando fake cartoon show are Gunhaver, voiced by Crack Stuntman, Flash Fight, Fightgar, Silent Rip, Krakotage, Reinforcements, Firebird, of course, voiced by the Cheat, Rip Burger, Foxface, Reynold, and the Blue Laser Commander, who is voiced by the guy who does the bad guy's voice. That's literally the only name they have for this guy. The shorts that they have, the filmography of the Cheat Commandos includes, of course, the shorts Cheat Commandos, Cheat Commandos O's, aka Time to Break Fast, Shopping for Danger, Commandos in the Classroom, aka Movie Night, the Blue Laser Disc Challenge, which was on the Everything Else Volume 2 DVD, Let Us Give Tanks, An Important Rap Song, The Next Episnode, aka Just Chill Till the Next Episnode, Cheat Commandos 2-part episode part 1, and Cheat Commandos 2-part episode part 2. They also cameoed in the short Teen Girl Squad issue number 7 as an Easter egg, the Email Virus, the short Toiki TV, Pistols for Pandas, Danger-esque Puppet Squad, the Hot Jones Hijack, Mr. Poofers Must Die, and the December Weenvent calendar day 12. You can actually buy Cheat Commandos toys from the official Homestar Runner store. In addition, you can download cardboard cutouts of their playsets. Fun fact, after Hasbro uploaded the entire G.I. Joe cartoon onto YouTube in 2020, all the Cheat Commandos cartoons were also uploaded to the HomestarRunner.com YouTube channel that same day.
Strategy much?
Yeah, so let's get into Shopping for Danger.
Okay.
I'm not going to mention the cast because I kind of just mentioned the cast earlier. It's all Matt Chapman.
Yeah.
He voices everybody. This is the first appearance of the Cheat Commandos headquarters playset. Aisle 6 in price style includes paper towels, soda types, bendy stuff, a cracker, grout cleaner, gym bags, green bottles, and blue bottles. That's literally what it's listed as. As he points out in the DVD commentary, the Blue Laser Babies are, of course, voiced by Matt Chapman. The song that plays in the Easter egg is the Cheat Commandos theme song, toned down and rendered in a music-like style. The YouTube description for this tune is, the Cheat Commandos must stop Blue Laser from saving money on their groceries for some reason. So what are your thoughts on this now that I've introduced you to what might be the strangest thing I've ever introduced you to?
Probably. So to get a little more info and stuff, because you stated all of it, except for the release date, which was September 28th, 2024. And it's
2004.
2004.
Which makes this 20 years old.
Exactly. Scary.
It's hard to believe this is 20 years old.
Exactly. And its runtime is 4 minutes and 56 seconds.
Okay.
When the first time it's like, so our last episode,
once we got done,
you showed me like this episode, and I was like, what in the world?
I didn't show you this one. I showed you.
That's right.
I showed you the commercial that technically created was the introduction of the Cheat Commandos to the site.
That's right. And I think you showed me like another one. I think it was like the PSA or this one. You showed me one of them.
I showed you Cheat Commandos O's, the breakfast cereal commercial.
That's right.
And we watched Let Us Give Tanks.
That's right. That was interesting. This episode in particular, Cheat Commandos Shopping for Danger. I thought it was interesting because it is a parody, and it's a farce of what, like any commando units, and it's as very much an homage, a little tongue-in-cheek, kind of thing to G.I. Joe, and I thought that was kind of clever. And I was like, okay, I appreciate what they're doing with the limitations they have, definitely with using Flash, and I thought it was interesting. The absurdity of all the, I was like, okay, so you're going to deprive Laser, what do they call it? Blue Laser. Blue Laser of shopping somewhere because you suspect that he is going to use his savings for dastardly deeds, in which like any villain would.
Mhm.
But I'm thinking like, dude, the guy could just be trying to find cheap toilet paper or whatever. And
Grout
you're
cleaner, because
grout
according to that computer at the end, the thing that was stopping Blue Laser from defeating the Cheat Commandos was mildew. That's
right.
A stupid
thing. Oh, agreed. I was like, oh, dude, so you're going to deny it? It's kind of like if you had an actual elite squadron of soldiers that were tasked to prevent just like this, but except that like they prevented them from doing every single little thing. Be like, oh, you're at the shopping mall. Oh, you're going to do this, and it's the absurdity of it is like when I first watched it, I was like, man, this is stupid. But when you start mulling it over and you start thinking about it, it's just like, wow, okay, this is clever.
Yeah,
this is clever storytelling and a very, very unique way of trying to say it, of how absurd these kind of situations can be. That you have to stop someone from doing something because you're so obsessed with they're gonna drop a nuke on the White House or something like that. So you're gonna prevent them from buying toilet paper.
Well, I mean, considering Blue Laser, they'd just be wanting to wrap the White House.
That's true.
TP the White House, I should say.
But yeah, I thought it was enjoyable for what it was. The humor was like, there again, it's
not your style.
No, it's not my kind of style.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
I will admit, this is absurdist humor. And absurdist humor is a bit of an acquired taste.
It is. Agreed.
And this whole website is this. It's you have absurdism touched on. Let's just make fun of everything and everybody, including our fans. Because I mean, that's kind of where the strong bad email stuff comes from. Is Larry's like, we get tons of these emails. Let's just answer them in the stupidest ways possible. Which this technically grew out of technically.
Yes.
But I actually do enjoy this one. The Cheat Commando stuff is not my favorite. I intentionally chose these two shorts from Homestar Runner over anything else I could have done, because I wanted to do something I did not have to do like a ton of explaining. Admittedly, I did a lot of explaining at the beginning of this, but I cut out a lot. I didn't have to go over running gags, who some of these characters were. Literally, who these characters are. All the characters in this are when they show up, just because of they're so two-dimensional. One thing I like about this, and granted, I don't know the G.I. Joe stuff that well,
right?
But you know it better than I do. Is there a boring office worker character that always gets left behind at the base?
I'm pretty sure there's some kind of.
Or was that just an absurd thing they created for this?
No, I'll be like there again. Be like, I remember G.I. Joe. I don't remember a lot of G.I. Joe, but I guarantee there are people out there. It's like, oh yeah, there's this character. I just wouldn't know the character.
Right. And that's the thing. I enjoy actually Reynolds in this. He's just wants to be one of the guys and ends up destroying the base.
Well, I take that back, because there's certain episodes that this kind of does parody.
Yeah.
Where the Joes are going on an assignment. They have to stop Cobra from doing something. And there's like one or two Joes left behind because maybe they were insubordinate or they did something wrong. And, or they just don't trust them quite yet. So they're left the base. And so Cobra Commando, Cobra sneaks in and they're able to save the day, something like that. So it's kind of a parody of that.
Gotcha. But the idea that some poor sap would get stuck with the toy Reynolds. But yeah, I enjoy these shorts mostly because it's more of the stuff. And I've been enjoying Homestar Runner for apparently 20 years now. I didn't even realize that. But yeah, I thought this episode was funny. It is not as common as stuff that shows up on the site as normal, because this is parodying an episode, but it's very, strangely enough, action packed.
Yes.
Which is not normal for this site, because I mean, there's not a whole lot you could do with this style of flash animation back then.
Very true.
Without creating like huge file sizes.
Mhm.
You got to remember, this thing was small enough; it was able to be played, basically streamed over dial-up back in the day.
Yep.
So I mean, a lot of this is like literally, it's using a what flash animation calls tweening animation, where you set up the the key. You do like the keyframes like you normally do with cell animation, and the thing in the program does mix the in-betweens, but you don't have to do it's like it downloads like the work file to the person's computer to play. Is basically what I'm trying to get at. Instead of every single frame being, and you can control different things. I'm probably not explaining it very well.
You're good.
But the limitations that old style flash animation, like you said, and what they were able to do with this, because this really, there's some things in here. It's like I'm still kind of surprised they were able to pull off with the limitations they had. But yeah, this is, granted, storyline wise, like you said, it's a stupid concept. But then that is Homestar Runner,
of course,
in a nutshell, is what's the stupidest way we could approach this the events in this. It's like, oh, we're gonna stop Blue Laser from saving money on double coupon day. That sounds like a goofy enough thing that these cheat commandos could stop them from doing. The other thing I enjoy about this, and granted, like I said, I didn't watch the G.I. Joe stuff, but I've seen other Hasbro Saturday morning cartoon stuff from this era, where they literally are putting in the toys as if they are real objects. Oh yeah. So I love the fact that they, every time they like the jetpack, the jet rock, jetpack. That's what I'm trying. The jet rocket pack, and they have to say the whole thing. The jetpack rocket or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
And the secret base, the Cheat Commandos home base, has the word Cheat Commandos plastered on it. It's like all these stupid things. It's like, I know they're doing this because that's what their fake toys would look like. And the thing is, Hasbro used to do that with their cartoons back in the day. You would go and buy a play set, and of course it's made to get kids' attentions. And then you go watch the cartoon, and it would, instead of it being a realistic depiction of this item, it looks exactly like the toy. It's like, why would you do it that way? It just seems weird. And I like how they were replicating even that kind of goofiness here. And they will do some more of that going forward, because that's kind of the way these Cheat Commandos shorts are. You ready to jump into the next one, or you got anything else to add to this?
No, I'm good.
All right. Next episode, not episode, that's a different thing.
Episode.
Commandos in the Classroom, or Movie Night, as the internal episode name gave it. But also fun, both of these are technically written by H. Mendez, although this one was H. Mendez Jr. But yeah, of course, that's all in jokes. Commandos in the Classroom. In this episode, this is the PSA episode. Reynolds says something he probably shouldn't, according to this, and he gets told. We get the
told off.
Well, this is basically not exactly a parody of the morals at the end of G.I. Joe episodes.
Yeah,
but it's it might as well be.
Yeah, agree.
That's basically what this is. Okay, so Commandos in the Classroom. First bit of trivia: imagining your enemies as pizza is a reference to the common suggestion of imagining the audience as being in their underwear while giving a speech or presentation to reduce stress. I have never understood that advice, by the way. That would just make it awkward.
In my speech class in college, it was not your underwear, but your audience butt naked.
I just was always told I didn't hear about the in your underwear naked thing until much later. When I first was getting anything like that advice, was just imagine there's nobody in the room. Yeah, it's like that makes sense. But
or the one
imagining them as being in their underwear or naked, that just makes everything awkward.
Yeah. The one that
there's some people, I don't need that image.
No. There was also I've heard that one, and also the one that I've heard is like you look at the audience, but you're looking right over their heads.
Oh yeah,
Because you see this, you're looking like at their caps, or you're looking at their hair, or something like that, and you're not looking at them directly, but from their vantage point, you're looking at them.
Right, and that's what I do anytime I'm up there, like on stage at church for like singing or something. Is I am always looking at the TVs on the back wall. It's because I don't have the songs completely memorized that we're singing up there.
How dare you?
Hey, I know some of these, but some of the specifics, like when to come in at weird spots.
Yeah.
And plus, that's just the right place to put the eyes level. And also,
Agreed.
I follow the cameras to see who's on right now. Because that's just an easy thing to follow. The blackboard in the classroom sequence reads assignments, take test, and stare at the clock until I come back.
Clever.
In the same scene as above, Silent Rip's test paper reads problem 4. Compare and contrast your 2 favorite Ernest movies. Show your work. You know who Ernest is?
I know Ernest.
Okay.
Like I've heard of Ernest. I think I've watched like one of his movies back in the day.
Ernest is not something I would expect to be your cup of tea.
No, it's not. It's not. But I remember watching Ernest at one point. I was like, wow, this is dumb. But okay.
It's intended to be dumb.
Exactly.
This is the first time that Reinforcements is shown in his animated form, and also the first time he talks in his own voice. This is the longest short cartoon on the website, although technically the short Limousine versus Sloshy has a longer running time if the length of all 4 songs together is added. The tune is in fact longer than a few of the main cartoons on the site. The line, "Come on, man," I was like, "Come on, man, I thought we were bros," is the first time a blue laser minion has ended a sentence without referring to the person he was speaking to as sir or ma'am. This is the first tune on the site that is not a Strong Bad email or a Halloween tune to have 3 Easter eggs at the end, though I don't think, I only think one of those was in the YouTube version that we saw. And the YouTube description for this tune is, the Cheat Commando teach teens and peers how to make proper behavior choices. I will say this is more like how Strong Bad emails are set up.
Right.
Once we get into the whole step-by-step process of how to make a good peer-to-teen choice behavior.
Oh my gosh.
Including, stupid things like imagine you're the guys as pizza, or claim to have one of any Gold Rush era diseases.
My gosh.
What are your thoughts on this?
It was interesting. There again, it's a parody, and it's just like what's the guy he's always getting picked on?
Reynolds.
Yeah, Reynolds is always in the last episode, he was the guy who was left at base, and this time it's like, oh, the movie night, and this is PG-13, so
we can't, you can't see the pony fights there.
The pony
Reynolds. Oh, but I can cuss like anyone. Diaper biscuits.
Diaper biscuits. I actually wrote that down. I was like, I'm going to use that at some point, and then you use it. Thanks. Diaper biscuits. That's actually clever. But when he says, "Be like, I'm gonna go get get
teen pregnant."
Yeah.
The way they say that's like, I think you missed a word there, didn't you? I think there's an A that's supposed to be there.
My gosh.
This is, I think, the goofier of the 2 episodes.
It is. And the level of, it's like, okay, here's something you do, and here's something you do, and their third step is, it's just an ambush.
Here's how the Cheat Commandos would do it.
Here's how the Cheat Commandos would do this. But it's so ridiculous that it's actually funny. And for a guy who has a very odd sense of humor, that was actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
And
did you catch the diagrams for each step? The first one was a guy. The second one was a girl. Third one was a bear.
I love that. That was absolutely hysterical. But overall, they're very enjoyable. They're not my cup of tea, but I thoroughly enjoy you brought these up, and it's like, okay, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be interesting. So, yeah. bravo, this was fun. Like I was glad you didn't go into the typical run of Homestar Runner, because I've seen a few of those and they're like, oh my gosh, this is annoying. But that's just me.
I mean, I can imagine you not being a fan of the character of Homestar Runner.
No, I'm not,
because he does not put athletic stars in the best of light, we'll say.
No, but I do appreciate what you brought to the table,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a lot of fun watching these little shorts, and then we have this week. They have next week. No, actually,
This is going to be a week week and a half, basically.
Yes. Yeah,
so
I got a Friday off
again.
Yes.
We forgot to actually rate both of these.
Yes,
so,
we did. So
what are you rating Shopping for Danger?
I'll just both give them a 5.
Okay,
give them a 5. They're both fun. They're again not exactly my cup of tea,
right.
But I appreciate what they did.
I will go with a little bit more with a 6, not because I find anything bad here. Don't get me wrong, but this is not a blow you out of the water animation like any of the stuff we've watched so far this month.
Yeah, agreed.
This was mostly just fun stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, I'll give both of them a 6. Next week, or the next episode, which is like you said in a week and a half, we're going to be reviewing. See, these are your choices again.
Yes.
A Fox and a Mouse and One Small Step. Not necessarily in that order. So join us next week for that. Join us on the other side of the bumpers, and we will get to talking about what we've been watching, if anything, in the last 2 days. News, if there's anything that's come up in the last 2 days, and some Evangelion.
Yes.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
This week, we suggest checking out Playing Games with Strangers. Playing Games with Strangers is a family-friendly actual play podcast where indie voice actors get together and play tabletop role-playing games. You can listen to the adventures unfold as they roll dice, slay monsters, and have fun at playinggameswithstrangers.com. The Cellcast would also like to thank the following patrons: Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, Book of Gaming, PaulGPowers.com, and Edwin Gonzalez. If you would like to get your name on the show, some uncut episodes of the Cellcast, special art from Jacob, and still, for a limited time, the ability to force us to watch something and be on the show if you pay us $10, go donate to us on Patreon. So, Jacob, I have a question for you.
What have you been watching?
What have they been watching?
Homestar Runner.
Yeah. And Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Mm-hmm.
Jack, squat, butt, nothing.
Are you saying you've been a bit busy for the last 2 days?
Yes, I've been quite a bit busy. Getting over my cold. If you go back and listen to the last episode, I was coughing up a lung, but I'm a little better. Thank you.
I know you were coughing up a lung. I edited most of that out today.
You did.
So yeah, if y'all are listening to the regular show, I'm wondering what Jacob's talking about because you don't remember a cough. That means I edited correctly.
Yeah, good job. But like my normal watching or listening to my morning podcast, which is more, they're all news related, and trying to keep up with what's going on in the world. And my thing is, like, if you're gonna listen to the news, listen to both sides of the argument. So I listen to something that is conservative, and then I listen to something that has more of a liberal turn to it. So then I get a full picture of what's going on, instead of, oh, because this side's the one who's right all the time, or this one's side's always right. So there's something in the middle. Yeah. So that's what I do. And yeah, just drew quite a bit. I didn't draw Drew. I did draw a picture, something for Drew for Christmas.
But that was that's last week when you gave that to me.
Yeah, that was. So
I need to get that in a frame, along with the one you gave me last year.
Yeah. Other than that, it's like I haven't been able to watch anything. Just regular YouTube.
What have you been watching on YouTube? Anything it's different than normal?
different than normal. Besides history documentaries, what is it? The Pixel Game Squad. They're a bunch of guys who hunt video games, and there again, I'm not a gamer, but I enjoy the oh my gosh, they found this.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Or they'll be panning across the table, and it's like, oh my gosh, like that's there. They don't pick it up, but I see that, and it's like, wow, that's incredible. And just like little things, or people are like they go toy hunter, they do video game hunts, and I find that fascinating. It's, oh my gosh, you found this game that's worth $300, or this thing is worth $200, and it's like I find it very intriguing. And yeah, that's about it. How about you?
All right. Let's see. I finished Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. That was an interest that ends on a very good note. Though it does. And the nice thing about Legacy of Monsters is it sits between Godzilla 2014 and King of the Monsters. Which, I know you've seen King of the Monsters.
Yes.
You know how it kind of just starts and it's like the entire world knows about Monarch, despite the fact no one in the world knew about Monarch beforehand. This actually fills in a lot of those gaps.
Oh, okay.
Plus explains how John Goodman's character in Kong Skull Island fits into everything.
Oh, okay.
So
is he in the show at all, or is
he is in 2 scenes?
Oh, okay.
He is near the beginning, and he is on TV at the very end when one of the main characters is looking back over some old records.
Okay.
The character he plays is a younger version of him is in most of it.
Oh, okay.
And I will say they did a very good job of looking for somebody who could look like after depression had set in and therapy eating had gotten really bad, would turn into John Goodman.
Oh, okay.
No offense to John Goodman, but he's a big guy. And they got, and then immediately the first time I saw this guy, I thought, there's no way that's supposed to be John Goodman. And then the more I watched, the more, good night, he's got his mannerisms down.
Oh, yeah. Well, John Goodman in the last couple of years lost a ton of weight.
Right. But I mean, he's still a big guy. And he's not like he was during Roseanne. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's still a much bigger guy than a lot of people are.
Of course. And I think it's just like,
and all I'm getting at is I can tell how this one skinny guy turns into John Goodman. Is all I'm trying to get at.
Fair. Excuse me.
I am not trying to fat shame John Goodman.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, they do a lot of good ways of explaining who Monarch is, showing how it got started, and how Godzilla's involved in a lot of that. And I will say that the duo of Kurt and Wyatt Russell playing the same character across time periods.
Really?
Yeah, Kurt Russell plays this character in the present in 2015, while his son Wyatt plays the character back in 1955 or 54.
Yeah,
around the time of the Bikini Atoll atomic testing. Trying to think what that was called because it's just gone right up. Castle Bravo.
Yes.
Yeah, around the Castle Bravo stuff. So like that's 54, 55. Anyway, they do a good job of explaining how all that gets set up. Granted, it's all retconning after the fact. I admit that.
Yeah. But
it's the kind of thing I could see them writing had they had the time to do it at the time. I'll put it that way. And I am looking forward now to going back and listening to Nate Marchand's reviews of all of the episodes that he has released to patrons, and I'm assuming at some point those will go out to everyone else. But looking forward to that. Yeah, PaulJPowers.com in the chat asks, so it doesn't lead up to Godzilla X Kong? Good to know. No, it does not lead into that. It leads into technically King of the Monsters and GVK, Godzilla versus Kong. And I'm sure there's something in there that's going to come up in GXK, the new film.
Oh, probably.
The New Empire. What I am curious about, I will say this, they did not technically connect in the Skull Island anime. They didn't technically.
Oh, thank the Lord.
But I could see how it could be worked in at a later date.
No.
You know, I mean, I could see some things Skull Island season 2, which we hope doesn't occur, could work in. I could see how that island would later connect in. That's all I'm saying. I
okay.
can see how they could do this.
Fair.
Should they do it? No. Because we neither one of us liked that cartoon.
No, and then we'll get pulled on the monster.
We'll get
Island.
pulled onto that anyway. In fact, we have an episode that we already recorded a year ago that's going to be coming up here in the next 2 months.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, the one we did for the Godzilla cartoon from 1998. That was the Monster Island. The one with the aliens.
Yeah.
That's going to be airing like within a month. Or however quickly he gets those episodes up.
Yeah.
I don't want to pretend I don't want to force his schedule because I know he's been busy. So what have I watched besides that? I've been watching the Playframe YouTube channel. He's been playing 14, and I am been watching that to remind myself what on earth is going on in this game, because it's a huge game and it's very complex and it's very easy to forget details.
Yes.
But he's also started playing through the original Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
And I'm watching that, and I'm actually enjoying watching him do that while I've been doing different things.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been watching, and of course playing 14 myself. So sorry, I got thrown off. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been watching. Why don't we go ahead and check in with the news?
The Cellcast News with your host Jacob Heron.
Why, thank you, Dealer. And going into the news, I have Buckus.
I didn't figure we had time for any news to come up.
What I understand, be like, there's nothing really developed over the last 2 days, but yeah, there has been no news, and I'll try to keep people updated on the socials.
We'll try to make sure we have that all for next time. But yeah, no news is technically good news.
That is true.
Although apparently, the only thing I know of is that we reported, I think back in December, that they were releasing Soul, Luca, and Turning Red back into theaters, and Soul is technically out right now.
Good.
So I don't know how well it's doing. I just know it's out.
Okay.
So how about we go ahead and jump into some Evangelion?
There we go.
Adventure, Card Captors, a quest for all time.
She is the one named Sailor Moon.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em. It's you and me. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon.
It's time to do.
Digimon, Duel Monsters, Digimon are the champions. Yayo, yayo, yayo. Ho, ho, set sail the Shinji, get in the robot. Your dad loves you, get in the robot. The cockpit's too small for a grown-up. Kick some butt in your robot. Emotional damage.
That is, of course, Stephen He doing the emotional damage thing, and the quote-unquote Lost 4Kids opening of Evangelion by Eagle 8 Burger. Everyone else is by whoever made those dubs back in the day. And I have to admit, I do miss 90s dub openings.
Yes.
I know they're not that good and they're kind of cheesy, but I do miss them.
Yeah,
I have nostalgia for them.
Yeah, I saw one where people were trying to shame 90s stuff, like be like, oh, because they were trying to wipe away culture and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
like 4Kids was trying to Americanize a lot of
Exactly.
the animation, which is not true of all of the people, but 4Kids was the most prominent.
Mhm. Yeah, I find it funny when people nowadays they want to be like, all you do is listen to, be like, you can't do anything except for like subs, because otherwise be like you're tarnishing whatever the original stuff was. Like, some of us have problems with watching subs, okay, people?
So we've never had the sub versus dub debate,
No.
I don't think, on this
No.
show.
We should.
And we should do this as a separate thing from
course.
this.
Of course.
I do believe, but I
Ooh,
will,
get some friends on here. That'd be fun.
that could be fun. Especially Francisco, because I know he's on the sub side. Roy.
Hi, Roy.
He's not here, but
I know.
Roy. I'm wearing a shirt especially for him. Anyway, threw me off.
You're welcome.
No, you're fine. No, but I will say that I understand why the people who prefer the subtitles don't like
Yes.
them, and why they prefer the dubs, and why for subs, and why they are a little hard-headed going back. But I will just say that most of the problems people had with 90s era dubs
Yes.
are not present in modern anime dubs.
No.
So let's just make like Elsa and let it go.
Well, there was one little controversy when it comes to the new Netflix dub.
There are some things.
Yeah, there's some things, but there again,
and
be like,
there's always going to be preferences. But that's the thing. Preferences.
exactly.
So, Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yes.
First episode tonight. In the Still Darkness, also known as The Day Tokyo 3 Stood Still. Directed by Tetsuya Watanabe and written by Hideaki Anno and Yoji Hinokido.
Mm-hmm.
Summary for this episode: a citywide power outage puts Nerve into a crisis as another angel invades Tokyo 3. Shinji, Rei, and Asuka attempt to make their way into the headquarters as Nerve personnel ready the Avas for manual deployment. No new cast in this episode.
Yep.
Trivia for this episode: angel appearance. We have Matariel. I probably said that wrong. Matariel resembles a opalinoid, also known as a harvestman or daddy longlegs, a type of arachnid related to but technically distinct from spiders.
Yes.
I have learned something today. I thought daddy longlegs were spiders. It
Really?
never occurred to me that they're not.
Yeah.
I knew you mostly see the big four legs,
Mm-hmm.
but in my mind, they had smaller legs that you're just not as easy to see. That's literally what it's been a while since I've seen a daddy long leg, but anyway. The JSSDF generals debating what to do about Matariel without Nerve refer to it amongst themselves as the 8th angel, even though Nerve refers to it as the 9th angel. Interestingly enough.
That was interesting.
The eyes on Matariel, as well as those on the next one, Sahaquiel, resemble the emblem of the Neo-Atlantean forces from Nadia, the Secret of Blue Water, which was directed by Hideaki Anno.
That makes sense.
This episode marks the first time that all 3 Avas, units 0, 1, and 2, are deployed at the same time. Ava Unit 0 reappears in this episode for the first time since it was severely damaged in episode 6, and it has now been repaired and partially rebuilt with shoulder armor plates like the other Avas, and it has been repainted blue with white highlights from its original orange color. We see more of what off-duty everyday civilian life is like for Nerve personnel when we see them all stopping at a laundromat, as Ritsuko, Maya, and Shigeru do their laundry at the same laundromat. It would seem that they live near each other. Masato forces Makoto to bring her laundry to the laundromat for her. This is the only time in the series that we see the trio of Nerve technicians in their civilian clothes. Shigeru was previously seen to be a guitar fan last episode when he was reading guitar magazines and strumming an air guitar while in Nerve headquarters. Here he is seen carrying a guitar case on his back. After 3 episodes of the red-tinted closing credits, the blue credits screen is back in this one. Matariel is said to make landfall in the former Atami area. There's an animation goof in the shot where the JSSDF general puts out his cigarette in an ashtray. The cigarette simply disappears after he puts it down.
That happens.
The the version of "Fly Me to the Moon" in this at the end of this one in the non-Netflix versions is the Rei, Asuka, and Misato version, sung by their voice actresses.
That makes sense.
And the normal orchestra. What are your thoughts on this episode?
You see a lot of character growth in this episode
Yeah.
because you have Shinji, Asuka, and Rei. Be like they're all together for a change.
Yeah.
Because normally like you'll see either Shinji and Rei, Shinji and Asuka, or the rare one where all you'll see is Rei and Asuka.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, I do have to correct myself in that because in the previous instance, it'd be like Dance Like There's No Tomorrow or some of that episode. Yeah, they're actually in like one episode together where they're actually in one room together. Where in this one, they're primarily all together because
well, this is the first one where they're actively working together.
yeah, exactly. Because most of them be like it's two are pairing off or like one of them is inactive or something like this is the first episode they actually have to work together as a team.
Mhm.
And they do work well as a team at the very end of the episode. And then all crap goes the haywall later on in the series, but we'll get there when we get there.
Right. We're still in the happy times.
Yeah, we're still in the happy times of this. But we have the moments where the our Ava pilots have to figure out how to get to Nerve headquarters with no power. Asuka kind of getting humbled a little bit here and there when
I love that scene when Asuka says we're going this way and they're going and they start going uphill and she says I think we were supposed to go the other way because we're going up instead of down and Asuka says there's no possible way, we're heading in the wrong direction. Open the door. There's the angel staring right at them and she slams the door and she says see now I understand, now we know that we need to hurry.
It's so well done. Be like a commentary I heard someone did, like people do commentaries all over this show like no one was
but like we're doing.
No, like no, of course not. We're just following the pattern, everybody else. But it's one of those where Asuka starts to lighten up a little bit. She's always kind of high strung and she's got to be the best about everything. In this one, she's asking Shinji, be like, why do you pilot the Ava? And he's like, I don't know why I do this.
He's probably never really thought about it.
He's never has because there's more.
Yeah, he's been running on basically instinct.
Yeah, the entire time. Be like, Rei does because be like she, like she's supposed to.
Yeah,
and it's just like kind of this bonding moment between these three pilots who are supposed to pilot these very mysterious mechs.
I would like to point out that for as much as her berating Shinji for his stupid reason, as she eventually calls it, she still hasn't said why she pilots the Ava yet either.
Yeah, that's true. Because we have a
hint from last episode.
Yes.
Or was it last episode or episode before last? Where it was episode before last, because it was the first one they were living in the same apartment.
Yes.
And she accidentally lays down next to him and starts.
That was a good part.
Having an emotional response to her mother.
Yeah.
And it's very obvious that that's where her weak point is.
Yeah. Which, kind of plays into later, which is funny, but this all kind of plays out later in the season. But you have a point where like they're having to work together and they're working to try to find the Nerve headquarters. And then they are finally able to. And it's like, okay, we have to do this and this and this. Where before, Asuka would be like, oh, I'm going to take the lead. I'm going to get the glory because I'm a narcissist. Where instead, she takes the defensive stash and just takes the blunt of the attack head on or back on, while Rei and Shinji can get the gun and shoot down the Ava.
Yeah.
So it's like it's the first time we actually do see Asuka actually be a team player. Unlike with the episode I like to call be like Dance Like There's No Tomorrow, or Dance like your life depends on it.
I know which one you're referring to.
Yes.
So yeah.
But we actually get to see this unification of these characters, and I find it really fascinating, really enjoyable, because the interaction with who they are and they're going chronologically where the story is going. We don't know all their past, but if you watch the series, you know what's going to happen. It's just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be painful later. But right now, like you said, it's the happy season.
We're still in the happy times.
Still in a happy time.
We've not decided to tear your heart out and stab it a few times while you watch.
Yeah, exactly. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, the point where is this remind me, this is the episode, the next episode, where it's Masato gets a promotion, or is that
That's in the next one.
next episode? Okay, good deal. All right. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode.
So this is the first time this is the episode's the first one we've seen Gendo back in a long time.
Yeah.
So, which actually kind of surprised me. I expected Gendo to be like in most episodes.
No.
Didn't expect it's like he'll be very big in the first couple, and then he'll disappear for a while.
Yeah, that's right.
While he's
Because
doing stuff behind the scenes.
yeah, because the power's gone out, and like a bunch of like everybody's coming like, oh, they're so cool under pressure and the whole bit,
Mhm.
and they to Gendo and his lieutenant, and they're standing in buckets of water. They're standing in buckets of water.
It's not that they're cool under pressure. It's like because here's like the power has gone out. They're in this huge structure
Uh-huh.
that admittedly, up to this point, I had
Uh-huh.
not considered how much infrastructure had to be in place for any of this to work.
Yes.
And now none of it is working for them.
Yes.
And it's got to be very hot, very stuffy,
Yes.
starting to get very smelly,
Yeah.
probably in there. And they're both looking at both those characters going, how are they so cool in this situation? And you get the camera shifts back behind them. You can see they're both standing in buckets of water.
It's
like, oh,
it's
they're literally
hot.
saying cool.
Indeed.
I'm going, I understand that, Gendo. I've done that many times.
Yes. But it's a great episode. It's the happy season.
Yes,
the happy
the happy times.
the happy times of our characters. And I thoroughly enjoy it. What about you?
I appreciate that, unlike the last two episodes, which kind of felt like filler. Granted,
Fair.
I don't know if they were filler because they did do a lot of good character introduction and development in those episodes. That's
Yes.
why I hesitate to call it filler. But
Yes.
neither episode really pushed the main plot along.
Mhm.
This one's not really pushing the main plot along, but it is
No.
showing that there's the much bigger world
Yes.
of what's going on and how big Nerve actually is, or Tokyo 3, I should say. I do have one problem with this, and from what I understand, this never gets answered.
Okay.
Why did all of their stuff get cut at the same time? They say that's at least in the Netflix version. I don't know if
Yeah.
they say this in yours, that they probably mean somebody sabotaged them.
Yeah, there's a mention of it.
But that's as far as they go. They never say who sabotaged them, what happened to this group. They never go into, and I guess from Shinji, Asuka, and Rei's point of view, not to mention Masato,
Mhm.
you don't really need to know
No.
what happened to whoever did this.
Well, there
But it's not, from what I can tell, it's never mentioned again.
in the ADV
ADV,
dub, it is mentioned that Sele may have had something to do with it, but
Okay.
like you said, it's never brought up again.
right? And they didn't bring up Seal or whatever
Yeah.
in this episode at all.
Yeah.
So in the Netflix one,
Yeah.
so that could be a decision by the ADV people
Yeah.
to basically fill in a minor plot hole,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what this is. I think is going to be.
Uh-huh.
Granted, it may not matter on the overall story
Mm-hmm.
who sabotaged them, but I do kind of feel it's like they laid a plot thread and never picked it up again.
Uh-huh.
And I suspect it's not going to ever get picked up. But anyway, you ready to jump into the next one?
Yeah, let's do that.
A Miracle's Worth, aka She Said, Don't Make Others Suffer for Your Personal Hatred.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting into the long anime names,
We are.
the isekai names.
Yes.
This episode was directed by Hiroyuki Ishido and written by Hideaki Anno and Akio Satsukawa. In this episode, Masato is promoted to the rank of Major, but she reveals her long-buried sentiments concerning her work at Nerve. A massive angel appears in Earth's stratosphere, and all three Evangelions are deployed to stop it. There is no new cast in this one that I have a cast. It's in the cast list.
Yeah.
I say that because I figure Masato's dad is probably an important character in the overall, but he's not credited in either of the three cast lists I'm following.
Okay.
So just putting that out
Okay.
there.
Fair enough.
Trivia. Angel appearance in this episode. We have Sahaquiel. Sahaquiel is fittingly named for the Archangel of the Sky, considering its expansive size and its appearance in orbit. The name Sahaquiel means ingenuity of God, which is perfectly fitting considering the angel's unique abilities, its offensive AT field, and its ability to jam communications. The eyes on Sahaquiel, as well as those on Materiel, I'm probably mispronouncing all these names, resemble the emblem of Neo-Atlantean forces from Nadia, the Secret of Blue Water, as I said earlier. The message, written in 3 lines on the sign, put out on the door to Masato's apartment for the party, written in Japanese characters, says, "Congratulations on your promotion. Celebration spot reserved today." Masato is wearing a sash at the party. The kids throw for her, with writing on it that translates to "Congratulations on your promotion to major." Masato is again seen drinking Boa brand beer again, last seen in episode 10, as opposed to her favorite Yebisu brand from episode 2. Possibly as a result, once again, of the network complaining when the series first aired that they didn't want to give the real world Yebisu beer company unpaid publicity. The Fly Me to the Moon in this episode, fittingly, is Masato singing it, or her voice actress, with the normal orchestra at the end. Though I think it sounded like when they got into the last couple lines, they switched back to the Rei Asuka Masato version at the very end, because it sounded like, because there was some harmony added in there at the end, but it sounded like Rei and Asuka's voice actresses. Could be wrong there. And yeah, I've mentioned this before, but it's been a bit, so I'll mention it again. The Fly Me to the Moon ending credits is not in the Netflix stub. The reason I know all this stuff is because I found a YouTube video that shows all the end credits. So I get to hear all these different versions, so I can have the full Evangelion experience, despite the fact I'm not listening to the ADV dub. But I mean, there shouldn't be that many differences.
Agreed. Between
dubs, technically. Though apparently there's some minor things people will complain about later. Anyway, invasion of the body I'm trying to make a stupid joke about alien invasion. Basically, this is an alien invasion story.
Yeah.
Except the aliens are angels and they're just trying to bomb the heck out of everything.
Yeah.
I'm still getting the fact, this is a theory on my part.
Okay.
Before I let you go off on this. The angels have to be tracking, and we know in that one episode they were tracking Adam, the embryo angel.
Okay.
I suspect they have if I remember in one of the rebuild films, they showed there was another angel in the geofront.
Yes.
We haven't seen that yet in this, but I suspect the angels are attacking that to, I'm assuming from their point of view, save their captured comrade. That's my theory as to why they're attacking.
Okay. Fair enough.
So
this episode in particular,
and how they're able to find Tokyo aim so specifically at apparently major parts of Tokyo 3.
Yes. The one thing that points out to me is like the flashback to the year 2000.
It's the year 2000. The far distant future of 2000.
Yeah, the far distant future of 2000.
When the second impact occurred.
Yes.
Apparently in Antarctica. We did learn that this episode.
Yes. I like the fact that they do they bring up Masato and
apparently Masato was there.
Masato with her father, and that she was saved from the third impact from her father. Second impact, sorry. That hasn't happened.
Third impact is coming, apparently.
Yes. But
I can kind of see that coming.
Yeah, but overall, we get that, and we kind of understand that Masato has a revenge vendetta against the angels for what happened in the second impact. Stuffy. It's great. Another point I like is where our characters are. Masato has all three of the Eva pilots together and be like, this is probably must be like dangerous mission, be like, you're going to fight of your wills. And they all refuse, saying, well, we're going to come back. And Asuka being her cocky narcissistic self, and it's like, oh, because I can't die because something like this, and you're like, oh no, because we can't lose for this, and sure enough, they don't lose.
Mhm.
But the point where Masato has either, it's like, I remember at one point she's talking about how willing to sacrifice the Avas in order to destroy the angel, and kind of showing her her zeal to destroy the angels at no matter cost. And even though be like she has grown fond of these pilots, grown fond of these children, she still knows she has a job to do. Maybe not, she didn't, like we said before, she maybe doesn't know the full extent of what is going on, but this is her job.
Yeah.
And has a zeal to do it and to fulfill it. So the one thing that kind of got me was a little bit, because where Masato says, be like, after everything we're done, be like, we're gonna go eat no matter what.
Mhm.
And
Gonna go eat steak.
we're gonna
She
go
specifically said steak.
we're gonna go
in
eat
the-
steak
in the Netflix version.
Yeah, it says steak too in the ADV dub.
And they go eat ramen.
They go eat ramen.
Which, on one hand, that is a cheaper option than Asuka was originally going to say for Masato. She did that, but also she chose that because apparently Rey is a vegetarian.
Yeah, apparently Rey is a
And
vegetarian.
she would prefer to eat something like that instead of steak.
Yes.
So she is including both of her other female companions.
And
in
also,
this.
it kind of shows that, like, even Asuka is very appreciative of what Masato has done.
Yeah.
Where they're like, it's like, well, we know, this is kind of blowing your budget, so we want to make it a little more easier on you.
Mhm.
So it's, let's go do ramen. Which they're gonna be like, I don't think I've had ramen before, but it's such a long time ago. And I know everybody and their grandmother who's gone to college is like, you got to eat ramen. Rah, rah, rah,
There
rah.
is a difference though between college barely living ramen
Yes.
and the ramen they're eating.
Yes. Oh, I agree. I agree.
That ramen is pretty much handmade and instead of just freeze dried.
But overall, this is a good episode. We have a moment where Hikari, Shinji's dad.
Oh, Gendo.
Yeah, where Gendo and his commander, I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, but either or, they're in Antarctica and they're talking about.
Admittedly, I keep going back to Mr. Burns and Smithers from that short, for that abridgment.
Yes. The point where they're talking about, they're on the ship and they're admiring how desolate Antarctica is now, and how man has triumphed over things through science, in that man can do anything through science. And it's just like, wow, you guys are so blind. It's not even funny. Like, you're dealing with angelic beings and you think you can solve it through science.
I will say I do find it interesting that they legitimately call these things angels.
Yes.
Even though they don't say these angels' names in at least either of the dubs we're watching.
Right.
They may say it in the Japanese one. I don't know. But it's very obvious this is a science versus religion story.
Yes.
Evangelion is telling. And I do appreciate that, but at the same time, I'm watching this and going, how bad is it I'm on the side of the angels from a Christian point of view? Because all these humans are going, I can tell they're going to screw this up. They are going to screw this up.
Yeah.
I already know Gendo's going to screw this up because I've already accidentally run across his entire motivation. And why he doesn't like his son.
No.
Gendo's the Antichrist, confirmed. Anyway.
But
I just threw you.
You threw me for a loop. Now I got a shirt design in my head. Thank you. I guarantee if we made this shirt, it would be okay. This is funny to the community. Everybody else would be like, "What kind
Yeah.
of blasphemy you're talking about here?" Confess.
Well, and the symbol for, I keep calling it seal because I haven't actually heard this name said out loud yet.
Yes, Sele.
You keep going the actual name. I haven't heard them actually say the words yet.
Yeah.
So I keep calling it seal. I do know that their symbol kind of does look like the Illuminati symbol, but with 6 eyes instead of 1.
Yeah.
The all-seeing eye
Or eyes.
in this case. Yes.
Yes.
But yeah. This is a good episode.
It is.
It's diving deep into Masato's character, which okay, there is a bit of a Sentai feeling to this show
Okay.
that we've not brought up yet.
Okay.
In doing that, I would say that technically Shinji would be the Red Ranger in terms of archetype, not in terms of actual color of
Right.
things. With Asuka being yellow and Rei, I think, being blue.
Yeah, she believe.
Technically, in more ways than one. But I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of the general archetypes you see in Sentai Power Rangers,
Yeah.
this is kind of how it lines up. And I'm assuming there's 2 more others because I've seen pictures of 5 Avas.
Yeah.
I don't know when the other 2 show up, if they do in this show.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And knowing Hideki Anno and how much he loves Tokusatsu, I would not be surprised if this is somewhat pulling from that, since, well, you know, the show we grew up on, Mighty Morphin,
Yeah.
the Megazord in the Sentai is God, and they literally fight Satan in the last episode.
Wow.
For those of you who did not know,
Wow. Now
that is
you
what's
know.
going on in the Sentai of this.
Wow.
Rita, the Japanese version of Rita, whose name I can't remember the Japanese. Oh, Witch Bandora.
Mm-hmm.
In case you're wondering why it says Bandora on all the Japanese on the castle there on the moon.
Okay.
She is legitimately a witch in the traditional sense of how a person becomes a witch.
Oh.
She sold her soul to Satan
Wow.
in the Japanese version, not in the American version because it's a different
Wow.
character, just using the same footage. But anyway, knowing that pull, I can't help but wonder if how much might be not a mimicry, but pulling from that sort of idea of what Sentai was doing. 'Cause
Yeah.
that stuff's always been kind of mystical versus science and back and forth and all that.
Right.
No, Paul, not Hercule, not Mr. Satan, different character.
I'm the greatest in the world.
I'm now picturing. I don't know, that changes a lot of things.
Yes.
But yeah, I am noticing that connection is there,
yeah.
and you know, just looking at it from that point of view of how this is kind of Sentai based in a way, and yet it's doing this science versus Christian theology thing, or technically in this case is Islam Judeo-Christian.
Yeah.
Because they do pull from all 3 of those in terms of
They do.
not the actual religion, but all the mysticism that worked its way in, because that's what Satan does.
Yeah, agree.
But the point I'm trying to get at is, yeah, you got the atheism. I feel like there is an atheistic versus Christian or religion sort of thing here.
Okay.
That I'm watching going, you know, based on what I understand through like patchwork spoilers that I've encountered over the years on how this show ends, both in the original ending and in the end of Evangelion. I wonder what Hideaki Anno is trying to say, because yeah, the good guys are technically atheists, but they lose at the end, don't they?
Well,
in a way,
yeah. So I want to draw back to something you said.
I don't want to spoil anything going forward. It's just what I understand of how this ends. It's like the atheists lose.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is very, very true. There's something like you did say I want to speak to. They're not spoiling anything because you did mention me like possible other Ava pilots. Other be like that does happen, and it ends badly.
Well, that's understandable
in both versions.
Because this is more of a this is not fully going Sentai where they're not working a full team with 5 members. You had one at 3, but considering my understanding of how this ends, it's not going to be a pleasant thing.
No.
But yeah, I kind of rambled there for a bit.
It's all good.
Trying to think, what else did I enjoy about this episode? I did like that we actually got to see some things that occurred during the second impact with, I'm assuming the first angel or the second angel. I do not know which coming up. And actually based on the opening sequence, I'm going to guess second angel.
Yeah. Because
I do believe that we see Unit 1 with that same wing structure in the opening sequence.
Possibly.
In the opening sequence of the show during Cruel Angel's thesis?
Yeah, possibly.
I'm just noting that.
Possibly.
Just a nice little, foreshadowing.
Yeah, a little bit.
And so I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Probably means... No, anyway, moving on. Do you have anything to add to this before we finish with this?
No,
I think we've kind of rambled on a little too long.
Rambling is not even close to what we normally do on this show.
Right.
But yeah, I think
we chase that rabbit down and make it beg for mercy.
Oh my gosh, you're not wrong. Oh my gosh, but I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of this series because what I remember watching it about 5 years ago when I moved in to my apartment, my new apartment. And it's like, wow, this is a good series. So I can't wait for you to see the rest of it, even though you're getting a little bit spoiled here and there with the notes.
It's minor spoilers. I am running across things because the trivia, y'all don't know how much I'm editing out of trivia because the trivia is assuming you're watching, you're coming back to this after you've seen the whole thing, unfortunately. But because of our research and I'm trying to make sure I catch things, I learn certain things, and to some degree I kind of knew some things before we started watching, before we even started the Cellcast, even though I don't have context for the end of this show. So yeah, so I guess that's going to be it for us tonight. In the join us next time for what is the next episodes. I don't have it in front of me. We are ending early tonight.
Yeah, we are ending early.
Of course, we started early too.
An angel invasion.
Yeah, angel infiltration is what mine shows.
Yeah.
And Sele, the seed of the soul.
Yes.
Or Seal, the seed of the soul.
Yeah.
We'll find out how that's pronounced next time.
Seal, Sele. Yeah.
One's a Pokemon, one's not.
What?
There's a Pokemon named Seal.
Oh.
That is literally a seal.
Oh my gosh. Originality, people.
Gen 1. You can't claim this is an originality in later generations. This is a Gen 1 Pokemon.
Wow.
Anyway, in the meantime, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day.
He tries.
His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron. And his Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. His Facebook page Drew's Photo Bin to see his photography. His Letterboxd page at GGeorge759. His Twitter at GGeorge759. And Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast. On Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming. On YouTube at Cellcast. On Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell with a single L.
The Cheat Commandos may be fighting for freedom, and each is sold separately. The Cheat Commandos, they're probably battling evil. Buy all our playsets and toys.
Oh, get in the robot already.
Firebirds.